Thank you. How's everybody doing today? Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you guys having me out here. I want to give a shout out to Kai. I talked to Kai, and Kai helped set this up. And when he first approached me about the opportunity, I was ecstatic about it. And since I've been here, I've met a lot of great, amazing people. So I just kind of, once again, want to say thank you for being out here and looking forward to this. So you see, here I am, NFL guy, right? But kind of what I wanted to talk about today is this journey on how I got here. It wasn't a straightforward journey. It wasn't an easy journey, right? It's kind of like we're here today and wired in, right? It's an underrepresented group in the IST. And it's just like myself, where I was not just told I was going to make it. I wasn't told, hey, you just look like you're going to be a great one, right? I had to go out there and do the things that I needed to do to make it happen. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is actually making it happen. And it's kind of like, what does that mean? And the mantra that I go by, make it happen. So let me take you back to a high school Dion who's sitting at the table with his parents, and I've got scholarships on the left side of the table. Hey, here's some scholarships for football. Got a couple schools on the right where, for various reasons, scholarships aren't available anymore. I don't know why they're on the table. My parents probably don't know why they're on the table, because we're getting money. So we're talking about it, and I look at it, and I'm saying, you know what? Penn State was one of these schools on the right side. And I said, I really want to go to Penn State. And it's like, if you survey 100 people, 99 are going to say, you've got scholarships. My parents have saved up the money. They've got vacation on their mind. They've got all these plans with this money. Razzle-dazzle Dion in high school was like, you know what? I think I want to go to Penn State, and I want to use your money to do it. Let's figure that out. They weren't excited about it. However, if they were to think back on it today, I think they would say, this is everything that we instilled in him, where he's not afraid to be the 1%. He's not afraid to chase his dream, and he knew it was going to be difficult. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, right? I knew it was going to come with, hey, you've got to have some confidence. So you've got to have that confidence, right? See the red man standing out. You've got to have that confidence. You're going to have accountability. I knew I was going to have accountability on exactly the things that were happening to me. Probably a lot of it was going to be my decisions, right? So I didn't want to point the finger. And brand. A lot of it is also building your brand. All these things go into building your brand, right? Is what do people say about you when you're not in the room? So I make that decision. Everybody's happy but my parents' bank account. I get to Penn State, and here are some of the challenges, right? In that world that I'm in. I don't have a scholarship. So in my mind already, I'm fighting confidence. Well, if I was really good, they would have gave me a scholarship. I don't know why they playing with me. So that means, I must be good, but not as good as you think. So I'm already challenged with that. I have no training table, right? Training table is a thing where after football practice, you would get to go to a meal outside of where the regular students were, because we had to get back to study hall. So you were able to get there, get a meal, go back. Everything was amazing in there, right? I didn't travel with the team. That's a big one. Can't walk around saying you're on the football team. Team's playing on Saturday. I see you here Friday night on campus. You lying, bro. You're not on the team. So I'm fighting all of that, right? I have the physique of a real high school kid. You see kids around here that look like grown men. I really look like a high school kid, right? And then also, I'm just a decent student, right? I mean, I was a good student. I was just decent. So I had all of these things that were challenges, and they kind of made me feel like I stood out in a bad way. And I think it was a perspective for myself to say, okay, how are you going to take those challenges and turn those into opportunities? So then you see on the right side, so okay, I have no scholarship. That's fine. That means, how are you going to get one? That means every day at practice, I will go out there consistent. We talk about your brand. I was consistent. It didn't matter what day it was. I was going to play the hardest I could play. I was going to study. I was going to be smart. I was going to do what was in my control. Training table. I didn't have training table. I would hear what the guys are saying they were eating in training table, and then I would go with my little meal points, right? And I would try to mirror exactly what they were doing in there to the best of my abilities, right? So I was saying, okay, well, let me give myself that opportunity to be healthy and make the right decisions. So, talk about study night. So that Friday night when the team is playing away and I don't want to be seen on campus, I turn that to a study night. I'm in my room. But I turn that into, hey, you know what? I can be a better student about that. Two birds, one stone. Also, I won't be seen on campus, so they'll still believe me that I'm really on the football team when I tell people I'm on the football team. Consistent workouts, right? Always had to show up, always had to be the one who was trying to lead, right? And just understand, like, hey, you've got work to do and understand that, and that was fine. And then because of that, turn that into being an exceptional student from a good student. So that first year, that's how I took those challenges, and it was about how did I think about those things? How did I look at them? Because a lot of things are perspective and how you view them. Right? We all go through different challenges, we all have different situations, but how do you view them? Are they opportunities or are they setbacks? And a lot of things are really opportunities if you look at them. So then I go freshman year, and another thing with training table that's a big thing is, so training table I couldn't go into because I was a walk-on. Fighting confidence, right, my first year. And they had this thing where we would have recruits every Friday come in, right? You're flying in recruits. You're showing the recruits the best thing you got, right? So they would go to training table. And guess what? On Friday, everybody on the team could go to training table. It looked like a big, happy family. But Monday through Thursday, they wouldn't let me in there. But Friday, when everybody else was here, it was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, come on in. We're all a big family here. And I'm like, man, that's kind of crazy. But okay, like, I know I'm here for something, but that's wild to me. So I remember the first time walking in and training table, and they had these ice sculptures, like Nittany Lion ice sculptures dripping down and like shrimp underneath. I'm like, man, this is great. I'm looking at the recruit guy like, yo, this is great. He's like, yeah, man, you do this all the time. Like, it's the first time I've seen this. Never seen this. Like, and he's kind of looking at me, but I had to catch myself because it's just like, once again, I'm fighting confidence, and you tell me, hey, come in on a Friday and look all great, like everything's a team. But hey, Monday through Thursday, when they're not here, you don't get to eat here. How did I look at that, right? How did I want to view that? It is what it is. That wasn't in my control. I could have let that set me back. I could have let that be a problem. Okay, that is what it is. I saw what they were eating in there as a team. I used to tell my roommate, hey, give me some Skittles, man. There were a lot of Skittles in there. I'm a candy guy. Like, hey, bring me some Skittles, man, full cup. That's all I need. Outside of that, I was going to the regular thing and doing my thing, eating at the regular cafeteria. But I just looked at it as an opportunity. But it's just one of those things was another situation where I could have looked at it and been like, man, this is messed up. I'm not doing it, or I can't handle this. So then end up having a great first year there, or here at Penn State, and staying consistent, being on time, being that guy, and I go to earn a scholarship. And it was an amazing feeling, right? But even that story was funny, because I go to the end of the year, and we don't have a scholarship. It's like, all right, well, my parents gave me 1 year, actually. So I was like, all right, well, that's my year. Dabbing everybody up. Hey, man, it was good knowing y'all. I'm going to see y'all. We'll figure it out. I get home, and they're like, hey, we got a scholarship, actually. Come on back. Hadn't even unpacked the car. I'm excited. My parents are mad. Like, oh, my gosh, we just packed this car, and we about to drive right back. I loved it, though, right? To me, it was one of those things, was a consistent thing that I did all year to be able to then earn that scholarship. A consistent thing all year where I became a better student because I was put around a lot more better students than I was, right? Like, I didn't have the study habits that everybody else had. I learned that when you get put in a room full of other great individuals and other people that push you, gravitate towards that, or be that yourself, right? Be that leader and gravitate towards that. Because I remember one of the first things when I got here, and it was just like, man, you always have that test where you feel like, hey, I didn't do really great on that test, man. I think I got like a D, or I failed that. Me and my group of friends, we would say that. Get the test back, they got a C minus, I got an F. I was like, I was for real when I said I failed that. I realized that was different, right? Like, when they say they messed up, that means they got a C. When I say I messed up, my level was an F. I didn't want to be that guy, right? I was around others that were great, and they pushed me to become a better student. And that's what helped drive those Friday nights into study nights. And I'm like, these others, man, I just saw you on College Ave at 4 a.m., sleep on a bench, 7 a.m. taking a test. How are you doing this? That wasn't me. You got to understand also who you are, what you can do, right? I understood that wasn't me. I couldn't do that. They could do that. But all in all, it's about how you look at situations and how you take them in stride. So I'll go back to this actually for a second. So you see, I get the scholarship at the end of that first year. So now expectations around me changed. But one of the keys is that nothing for me changed. I was still doing the same thing. I didn't, because I got a scholarship, turn into a different person or need to turn into a different person or do something else amazing. It was what I did consistently that got me here to get me to the scholarship. Your expectations may change of me. I'm still who I am, and I talk about that brand. You are who you are. The things around you can change. You may adapt to some things, but you're still gonna be who you are. Set that tone, and that was the thing with me, is like, I'm still gonna be the same person. Thank you for the scholarship, but you're still gonna get the same me. Now, I did get the perks, right? Now I could go to the training table. It was great. I could go to the football building and print out paper. I don't know, are you still printing? Do you still have to pay for printing paper here? Oh yeah, oh see, oof. See, I was slinging print paper. I was smuggling printing paper. So I would have classmates and, man, we got to print out a syllabus, and it was like, hey, I got free printing paper. If you got a couple meal points, I'll print your stuff for you. What's up? I was original back in the day, but yeah, I was getting those perks, man. I remember that being a big thing. But I was having those perks where it was like, okay, now I'm enjoying the fruits of this labor, but I still had to be aware of what was around me, right? And you hear people talk about being in their bag. On the field, it just got crazy. Like, all the things that I was doing consistently to be a better player just turned up on the field. I mean, and I have this picture here because that's what it felt like that year. It felt like just me and my boys, like, celebrating all year on and off the field. I was breaking records. We were a 10-1 team at a BCS bowl game. I'm breaking records. I'm building my personal brand consistently. People are seeing me show up. I'm starting to be a leader. It wasn't me really starting to be a leader. It was just other people starting to follow what I was doing because they saw it was consistent and that they wanted to kind of be like that. And so you see that, and I'm in the media. I'm in photo shoots and ESPN magazines, and to me that's crazy because I'm just like, oh, I used to watch all of this stuff. Now I'm the one in the magazine. And that year goes by great, and it's an amazing year, and I kind of have this story down at the bottom of just hey, when everything is great, still be aware. So we have a BCS bowl game where we're playing Florida State down in Florida. We have a beach party before the game, and it's like, all right, a lot of guys have never been on a jet ski, so you get a jet ski out there, and you ride around. You're supposed to bring the jet ski back, let them check it. You already know, like, after a while, we're like, bro, just bring the jet ski to me, and then I'm gone. Let's go. Like, we can skip the middleman. So we're doing jet skis, and like the second time around, we're like, yo, let's go all the way out to like the oil tankers that look this big from the shore, but they're huge. Like, let's do that, turn around and race back. By luck, right, I would get out there, hit the gas to come back, sputters. Like, hold on, wait. Sputters. They can't hear me. If you've ever been on jet skis, kind of loud. They can't hear me. They take off. They're gone. I'm like, yo, what's good? Like, I'm out here sputtering now, and if you've been out in the ocean, like the waves out there, they're large. You're on a little jet ski. So I'm out there, and I'm like, man, like, I'm keep trying to start it, and of course, everything goes through your head. Okay, now I'm attracting every shark that's in this water, because I'm just like, right, I'm flapping the water. Like, nope, every shark's coming. I got to stop this. I got to figure it, like, how am I going to? And it's one of the most helpless feelings I've ever had in my life. And I have this article, because they actually wrote an article. But I was out there for 45 minutes, and I was floating away. And I'm literally sitting there thinking, they had a bus running every 20 minutes, so they're not checking who's there and who's not. I'm like, they're not gonna know I'm not there until dinner. There's no streetlights out here. Like, this is gonna be a problem. And I'm out there, and I see some yachts go by, and I'm crying at this point. We're gonna be real. Like, I am crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, please just get me back. And a yacht goes by, and they must have called Coast Guard. Boom, Coast Guard comes. Okay, I'm good. Coast Guard, come on, man, pull up on me. Let's go. Coast Guard, if you ever been on boats too, boats don't just pull up right next to each other. They kind of pull up, and he's like, hey, jump off. Jump off? Like, what? We're out in the middle of the ocean. He's like, yeah, you you can swim over here, but like we can't pull up to you. So I'm like, oh, I have the scariest little swim I've ever done in my life because I just really thought I wasn't gonna make it. I swim to the Coast Guard, get up there, it's like, all right, cool, take me back. They're like, no, we don't wanna leave the jet ski. I don't care about that jet ski. They're like, hey, call the guy. They called the jet ski people. So they're like, all right, cool. You can go with him on the jet ski back because we're the Coast Guard. We got bigger stuff. Y'all go back. So I'm like, how am I go back? They're like, yeah, hop on the back. So I'm like, you want me to ride on the back of the jet ski holding on to him, to my teammates on shore, seeing this? And I'm the guy? Come on, man. So, yeah, to make matters worse, that's how I rolled up to shore. On the back of the jet ski, holding on to the guy like, hey, thanks, man, appreciate it. And that was just one of those things where, be aware, right? It was just a simple little life lesson of like, everything was going great, and we thought, hey, let's skip the middleman. They have rules in for a reason, right? When everything's going great, don't just get beside yourself and just start getting carried away. Still stick to the basics, still follow rules where there are rules. So then, right, sophomore, junior year, kind of go through uneventful. I'm still doing really well on the field. I'm not even thinking about the NFL. And one of the big shifts that came to me was after my junior year, I got a phone call that said, hey, are you coming back to Penn State? Or are you leaving? Leaving for what? Leaving to go to the NFL draft. I'm like, me? They're like, yeah, you got a draft grade. Do you want to go? I'm like, I don't know. I've never thought about that. This whole time I'm playing football, all I thought about was getting better. Day by day, doing the little things, winning games, being a better student. I never thought about the NFL, never crossed my mind. And that was like a shift in focus where, okay, well, at this point I'm about to graduate, so maybe I need to really think about the NFL and how this is. And that was a large turning point for me because it was the first point where I really thought, like, oh wow, I'm gonna be an NFL player. Like I watch NFL guys. I'm not one, but no, you can be one. But it was a testament to all the little things that I had done, right? All the little things that I had done to be able to get to that point on the field and off the field, being a student, right? Having a GPA to be eligible, right? Balancing that time management. And I was able to then, that last year, that was different for me. I had to go and I had to interview agents. I had to interview financial advisors. The amount of money they're talking, never seen that. My parents never seen that, right? It's like situations where it was just starting off in school when it was like uncomfortable to me and I had to learn to study. I had to learn to figure different things out. I had to learn, okay, well, let me look into, money management and a little bit of things so I understand when they're talking to me, what are they even talking about? So it's like still the simple things that you have to do, right, in uncomfortable situations, right? I had to learn that. Everybody thinks also, right, finish up the senior year, have a great year, going to the NFL draft, going to train. I'm thinking, okay, you're going to go train in some amazing place. This is the NFL coming up. We were in Paramus, New Jersey. Sorry if anybody's from Paramus. It's just not glamorous, right? It's probably a nice place, but it's not glamorous. It was another sign to me of what we were doing in Paramus. We were waking up at like 5 a.m. consistently. We would eat the same thing, the same 3 meals every day. Consistency, consistency, consistency. It's about consistency. It wasn't about flash. It wasn't about all this glamour. It's about consistency. We had a guy out there that was like, we do workouts barefoot out here. It's like, okay. He's like, have you ever thought about if you put your hands in mittens all your life, how weak your hands would be? It's like, never thought about that, man, but okay. But that's another thing of, in our professions, we get exposed to different people. You have to learn to adapt to different people, different cultures, right? And I understand that's what we do here in Wired In, right? We're understanding, we're meeting a lot of people from different cultures. Same concept. You have to adapt to people. You have to learn to communicate with different people, and that helps you in your professional field. So we do the barefoot workouts and all this stuff, and it's all about achieving the KPIs, what I would call it right in our world. And if anybody knows football, 40-yard dash is like the thing. Like everybody talks about 40-yard dash. All I cared about was they showed this on TV. They have a hand time and a laser time, 4-2-6 hand time. I said, when my boys wake up to see this, it's going up. Like, this is crazy. So all of that hard work, right? Everybody saw the end result. They didn't see the barefoot workouts. They didn't see the same 3 meals every day. So it's a lot of that when I transition, I talk about this as I'm coming up with all the things behind the scenes that you're doing, that you are, that your brand is. People will see the results. They don't always have to see what you do behind the scenes. Just like that. They saw 4-2. They did not see everything that went into that. And that's one of those things where don't get caught up on feeling like there has to be instantaneous success or glorified instantaneously. Things will work out. Continue to get there. Continue to work hard. So I get there, get to the NFL draft. Good deal. Have a pretty good career. I'm starting off my first year, another windy road, right? Get out there, get drafted. First year playing good. And you get so much money in a short period of time. You get paid from September to December. It's nothing to get every 2 weeks a $300,000 paycheck. And you gonna tell me that I can't buy a Lambo, spend a check, get it right back, right? Like you can't, so you're trying to learn to budget. I haven't budgeted. It probably sounds simple to you, all right? People that have, if you don't have a full ride, like you've had to work, you've had to kind of figure, when you're on scholarship, you're like, I haven't had to budget. So now you're giving me a bunch of money and telling me there's a bunch of bills and I need to budget. I had to start really working on that. I had to really pay attention to that. And the funny thing is, also I talk about the money. It took me to make some money to realize I wasn't making money because the rooms that I then got in, right? I was in Seattle. Paul Allen was the owner who helped found Microsoft with Bill Gates. His friend is Nordstrom, like the Nordstrom. Nordstrom's in the building. And it's just like, man, they're really making money. And that's when it really gravitated to me that I need to listen to these people, right? Everybody had some sort of post-college education, whether it was a certification, whether it was a master's, any of that. And all of that just gravitated towards that. And that's kind of right. People read, people learn different ways. My way is like I get in rooms and I just like talking to people because I think there are so many amazing people in this world. And I'll pick their brains, and I just want to learn a little bit about it. Never think you're too good or too smart to learn just a little bit from anybody, because there's so many ways to do so many things. So I have my first year, NFL, goes good, right, on the track for playing. Boom, I'm in Seattle. Wake up one day in the off season, my brother calls me, he's like, hey man, your coach got fired. I'm like, what are you talking? Your coach got fired. Nobody gets fired after one season. They don't even have their players in. Boom, you get fired. Like okay, wow, find out my coach is fired. Okay, what are we gonna do about that? They didn't tell us. Then we go in, we bring in this college coach, Pete Carroll from USC. We had just played him. He's everything opposite of like what an NFL coach is usually. So he comes in, he loves tall, big, wide receivers. That's not me. So I'm like, how am I going to handle this, right? What am I going to do? So already the odds are against me again. Here we go. I just got here. This other team, this other coaching staff had a plan for me. This one does not. So I get there. How am I going to look at it? All right, well, it's an opportunity to impress a new coaching staff. They don't have plans for me, but they got me. This is my brand. They're going to get every day the best version of me that they're going to get. So stick it out there. I play, and then right, even before we get to playing, another confidence thing. We draft a receiver with our second pick in the draft. Gosh, like, are you kidding me? Like, now you want me to show up and y'all are drafting the guy in front of my face? I can't control that. It's another one of those, you control what you can control. Couldn't control that. All I control is who I am, my brand, who I am. Consistently stayed out there, consistently worked hard. Ended up starting that year, leading the team in touchdowns. Had a good year. Ended up breaking my leg near the end of the year. Set me back. I missed most of the next season. Came back and played. Finished out my contract there. Didn't like how things were. I said, you know what, I'm gonna sign in San Diego because they're not talking right to me out here. Signed in San Diego. Seattle literally wins the Super Bowl the very next season. Sitting at home watching it like, oh my gosh. right? One of those things, control what you can control. I'm out in San Diego. Tough. Now I'm starting to see kind of the writing on the wall, like, hey, I might not play 20 years like everybody wants to. I might not do that. So what then am I doing? Like now, okay, what are you gonna do with life after football? That's a tough decision when you haven't thought about that in a long time. So what do? I say, well, let me leverage NFL benefits, right? I had already graduated from Penn State. NFL will pay for either your undergrad or your master's. I tapped back into every room I was in with all those CEOs. Everybody had post-education, postgraduate education. I didn't think I was going to touch another book. I was done. When I finished undergrad, I was tapped out, couldn't read nothing else. After that, I was inspired again. Like, you know what, I need to do this. I want to be a leader in this world. I need to do this. So I leveraged that where NFL pays for your master's. I do that. I start Penn State World Campus, right? I'm learning with other IT leaders in this world, and it's almost like starting over again. I haven't been in an IT classroom in a long time. So here I am starting over again. And okay, I'm still playing, but I'm just in the off season. I'm still learning and kind of figuring out, hey, life after football is coming. And I have that in red because one of the hardest things I ever did was acknowledging the end of my career. If you talk about football, with football, if you're not on the team, you could be at home. They'll call you on a Wednesday. They expect you to full practice on a Thursday, full speed, and be ready to play by Sunday. So like me as a wide receiver, that means I need to train as if I'm in a game. I need a quarterback, and I need a field. I can't really do that and apply for internships and you've got to really pick it. Like, you've got to pick a side of what you're going to do. And at that point, I was still obviously passionate about IT. I had a good run in football, and I just said, you know, I've got something else to do, so I really I didn't want to, but I said I have something else that I'm able to do, and I was excited about that new chapter, more so than trying to hang on to something that was starting to fade away. So that's why I have that in red. That was one of the hardest things to do, but Penn State World Camp was an amazing place to help me out with that, right? So then we start going into the transition. It's one of the biggest things. So before I even get into my first internship, I go to my first interview. I've got my master's now, complete my master's. Got an NFL, everybody wants to talk to me and bring me in. Like, all right, boom, let's do this. First interview, I bombed it. Terrible. Like, by the end, I feel like they just wanted to talk fantasy football. Like, they were just like, yo, bro, like, cool, but like, all right. I was like, man, this is tough. Like, this is tougher than I thought, right? But once again, an opportunity. I've never been in an interview for IT at this point. This is an opportunity for me. How do I get better at this? What do I learn that employers are looking for? I take that as a stepping stone to go to the next one. So I go to the next interview, do a great job, and get hired. I get hired for $15 an hour. So ghetto to me. So ghetto. I literally was just making about $1 million a year. Now making 15. Ghetto. However, I understood where I wanted to go. This was like freshman year in college again, right? Confidence. All right, you don't have the scholarship. Okay, I don't have all the IT skills, but where am I trying to get to? I want to be a leader in IT. Where do you have to start? You don't get to start at the top. We would love it if you get to start at the top. You don't get to start there. In IT, you've got to start at the bottom. So I was able to swallow that pill and humble myself. And a lot of people still question, like, man, I don't know how you do it. What do you mean? I knew where I wanted to go. I'm not going to skip this step. This is part of the progression. And I'm not too good. Like, who am I to say, like, hey, just because I play ball means that I need to be a manager of a team right now? I have no IT experience, right? So then I start applying these Penn State and these NFL experiences to my job, right? How do you work under pressure? Well, I've got some highlight tapes when there's 110,000 people at Beaver Stadium. I can tell you about how I work under pressure. Live. I got a live HR or a live performance review right there. You drop a pass, they boo you on the spot. You catch a touchdown pass, they cheer you on the spot. I've never been booed for doing the wrong configuration yet at Cox. No one has even clapped for me either when I've done the right configuration. But The point is, right, so you start applying these things and you have all these, I had all of these skills already. Time management, I already knew how to manage study hall with practice with 15 to 17 credits, which probably sounds low because you all take a lot of credits, right? But we always had practice too, and we had to take summer school and things like that. So we have that, and I'm starting to apply these, right? And then what really stood out were the soft skills. Like I knew how to connect with my team. They were my teammates, right? One thing you learn in sports is that your teammates will weed you out before the coaches do. If you don't show up, okay, we not worried about him. If I don't feel like you got my back, don't worry, we don't got yours either. And that's the same spirit and the same mentality that happens in the corporate world. People pay attention to you. If your brand, if you don't show up, if you don't do things right, your brand won't be good. And people will, when I talk about those conversations in other rooms without you, they won't be good conversations, right? So I started applying all of these. I started having good growth in my field. I'm working as a Windows admin, right? Windows admin right at the bottom, just getting situated in this world. Windows admin, work my way up to security operations. So I'm doing maintenance windows at 2 a.m. And you know, it's a career path, right? Just like freshman year in college, again, sports, school. I'm learning. Once again, challenge yourself. Not everything's gonna be perfect. There's not gonna be one IT professional you meet who has not made a mistake. But never ever be so afraid to fail that you don't try. You'll never be great. I wanna say that again. Do never be too afraid to fail so that you don't even try. Literally, you can't be great if you don't try and push yourself. Part of that, right? Growth again in the IT space. I have a maintenance window, I'll do a maintenance window, do some configurations, boom, close my laptop. I got a flight out West Coast, I'm gone, let's go. And I land, it's like a 5-hour flight from Atlanta. And I land and my phone's like blowing up, and it's like my work phone. It's like, man, somebody like really messed something up. That looked like my change. That's something I did. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I made a change. Threw on my headphones, been hanging out, chilling on the plane while the building's been burning down, right? Like, but for something I did. And it's just one of those things again, like, right? But I jumped on a call, let it be known, hey, this is a change I did. It had already gotten fixed by that time, but I let them know what I'd done, where I had been at that time on the plane. And I got more credibility and more brand building for stepping up to the plate and saying, hey, I took accountability for what I did, what the actions were, and then learning from that and saying, okay, where can I improve on that? As opposed to just saying, hey, it's already fixed. I'm just not gonna say anything, see if nobody says something to me. It's not the brand that you want. You don't wanna be that person. So you start overcoming those challenges in the workplace, and those are the things that I started doing. I started building that accountability, gaining respect from my peers because of that. And that was all stuff that I'd already knew from sports that transitioned seamlessly right into this IT space. Right, so much so that then I get into a leadership role. And now it's like literally being the captain of a team all over again. You have to communicate with so many people. I have a team of 8 right now that directly reports to me. I can't talk to the 24-year-old woman on my team the same way that I talk to the 60-year-old IT veteran. They just don't operate the same. Just like you all know that you have to communicate differently with people. And being that leader, that comes from sports and school here when I was with other groups. Understanding you can't communicate the same way with everybody, but you have to be able to get a team of people on the same page, aligned to the same goal. And those soft skills are huge. So as you enter into the IT space, I'll reiterate to that there'll be a lot of people that know the code, a lot of people that know certain languages. The soft skills are what's going to set you apart. Can you reply when you need to reply? Are you accountable? Do people not have to look for you when your work is due? Those are the things that, as a leader, we will struggle with
if we can't trust you. If we can't trust you, you're not going to get the big projects. You're not going to get the, hey, we got 2 training passes for someone. You're not going to get those opportunities, which will then lead to bigger opportunities. So always think of just being yourself, being that brand, being consistent. And those are the things that carry over right into this IT space, right, that I learned, like I said, in sports and that you all will do. And I kind of want to leave off with, once again, I've kind of mentioned it before, but recognize the impact of the conversations that are happening about you in a room that you're not in, right? And those are those conversations where your brand will speak for you. If I know I can trust you, we're having a good conversation about you. And when you're up for a promotion, they're not going to come and ask you, do you want the promotion? They've already talked about it in another room with other people, and they want buy-off from the other leaders. Hey, what do you think about so-and-so? You just got to have a good reputation in there. And that's just about being the person you are, like I said, as far as being consistent, being accountable, and always challenge yourself and learn. Continue to learn and never think you're too good, right? Obviously, I have this background. Never too good. I understand I was still the kid who wouldn't be let in the training table. So I was never too good. So I understood that, and people are really, oh, you're really humble. I wasn't any different when they wouldn't let me in the door. I was still the same person, so I already know just other people recognizing that didn't change me. That's just other people's expectations of me changing. So then I'll leave you with this, right? Which is one of the biggest things that I always say is build your brand, be your brand, and make it happen, right? That's one of the biggest things that I always say. Be yourself, be consistent, and things will really work out in the end. Thank you, I appreciate y'all having me out.